Hi, it's Kisa again. I'm here with Pedro today from the Crunchies. Very clearly a Crunchie, wrapping so nicely here.
Blue and white.
Pedro, before I jump in asking you questions, what do you want to just say about yourself? The briefest intro, what comes to mind?
Well, my name is Pedro. I go to Crunch in the mornings, and I love, love, love going to the gym. Because, I've learned so much about myself, and I learned so much about other people behind the workouts.
I'm going to start with a follow-up right there. I would love to hear more about what you've learned about yourself through this Crunchy group or the gym.
I'd say what I learned more about myself is sort of paying attention to sort of like how I engage with people. Because like growing up, raised in Mexico and finishing school in Georgia, I was bounced between the U.S. and Mexico.
Mm-hmm.
So growing up, I wasn't able to like pick up on social cues, pick up on like sort of body behavior, body language, and sort of facial expressions, and I just had a tough time just reading people, and I always felt like I just couldn't engage.
Your whole life you felt this way?
Yeah.
Okay, and how has the gym, did that bring that more to the surface for you, or did it help you adjust or learn the cues?
It's helped me adjust as far as like talking with people, because it's like facial expressions as far as like talking with people, just sort of they're working out and just sort of how to engage, how to start a conversation, and how a conversation unfolds and how it ends, how to walk away from conversation, and those sort of things. It's like I don't know how to start a conversation, and I don't know how to end a conversation. And sometimes I feel I'm awkward when I end a conversation or start a conversation.
I so love that you're talking about this, because I think more people can probably relate to this sentiment that you're sharing than maybe you think. Have you talked about this with any Crunchies before?
No.
I feel like there's going to be people who hear that and feel like at once suddenly better about themselves, because there are definitely levels of awkward, right? I mean, but the fact that you are sharing that you sometimes don't know how to start or end, I think we all struggle with that a little bit, especially at the gym, right? Because you want to respect that people are working out, and it's double hard there because you're trying to gauge on what level they want to engage, if at all. So if you can master it there at Crunch,
I'm learning. I'm still learning.
yeah. So what I noticed about you at the gym is, and I told you this the other day, and you seemed surprised, you always look very focused. Like you look like a man on a mission, and you're very engaged with your workout. So have you always been that way?
No. And the thing is, as far as for the gym too, this is like I want to say this is my third time inside of like a gym setting. So that also adds on top of why I'm unable to sort of catch on these cues and social engagements until now with the Crunchy group.
Okay. Well,
And I'm focused because part of it is also because I'm trying to, I'm doing my workout, but it's not necessarily like I'm not trying to like make a bubble around me as far as per se, but it's like I just don't know what to look at when I'm I don't know what to look at when I'm working out. I don't know if I'm like staring at the ceiling, at the floor,
Yeah.
at the wall. And the thing is I don't listen to music. I have an earbud, but it doesn't have music on. So I'm just sort of it's like, okay, I'm trying not to stare at people. I'm trying.
yeah. Well, that's probably a good policy. What are you listening to?
I'm no music.
Nothing.
Nothing.
Just so it's for show.
So I have an earbud to mute the music.
Okay. Oh, but just one.
Just one ear.
Okay. Yeah.
That way, if someone does approach me, feel free to approach me. I will talk. Don't, if I look focused, don't be afraid. I'm willing to talk.
Okay. Well, that's good to know. I should ask everybody to say, can you be approached at the gym?
Oh yeah.
You can approach me. Green light. Okay.
I look focused, but I'm just trying. I'm just focused.
Okay. I think too, people would be surprised and we should never do this because it would make everyone so self-conscious, but probably all of us would be surprised to learn what faces we're making when we're working out. It's probably better that we don't know what we look like.
Oh, yeah.
Because I know what you mean. I definitely take in the surrounding, but there are times where I'm just probably making a really super weird face, looking at some spot on the
So
floor.
it's like I don't, and to your point, I'm not even like trying to like. I don't even know what I look like. I'm like just orb of energy, just sort of working out. I don't even know what I don't know if I look happy, sad, or angry. But you're the first person who says you look focused.
Yeah, I'd say focused.
And does that? How does that look? Does it look?
But then how does it look? Well, like eyes straight ahead. Um, you just look in the zone. But then if I get enough into your field of vision where we make eye contact, I mean, you're one of those people that your smile transforms your whole face. Like you just like then you light up with a smile that is very welcoming and very like you just
Oh,
seem like
thank you.
you present like a very joyful person. Like you have like a lot of joy that just comes out. Do you feel that way?
Oh yeah, I do. I do. I always tell people I'm grateful to be alive. Every day I wake up, I'm able to walk, talk, smell, see, breathe. And with that gratitude, I just feel so joyful.
That's definitely the way you seem in the world, and the way you are on our thread too. Like I said to you at the party that you're like the probably one of the nicest people I've ever met, and not just in person, but the way you respond when people share things. You're very very supportive, and you seemed kind of surprised to hear that, which
I
got me
am
thinking.
surprised.
So this became like a kind of a philosophical question in my mind. Like the fact that you were surprised that I found you disproportionately, or how can I say it? Like you have an outsized niceness compared to the rest of the world. I'm pretty sure all the crunchies will agree with me on this. Like you're nicer than most people.
Really? Oh
And
no!
so the fact that that surprised
Hopefully
you,
that isn't true.
you don't, what'd you say?
Hopefully that's not true. Hopefully
Oh
there are
no,
other
no,
people
they're not
who.
like meanies or
Yeah.
anything.
Okay.
You're just like extra nice. And I think that I feel like you pay more individual attention to things that people share on that thread than a lot of people. Not through any, malice or anything. They just maybe they make time for different things. But the fact that you were surprised by that made me wonder how your experience is in the world. And if you don't think you're extra nice, that's probably how you experience the world. That everybody, in your mind, is everybody kind and like respectful and thoughtful? Is that how you experience the world?
I'd say so. I haven't really given too much thought in it. Uh, I remember I was sharing this story with someone. Like for example, if I'm walking my dog, right, walking around town, and if I say good morning to someone, and they don't say good morning back, then I see it as my mind. It's wired to see. Okay, maybe they didn't understand English. Maybe they didn't have a music. Maybe they had music in their head, like in their ears, or maybe they were just they were thinking about something else and they didn't hear me. I don't take it as like malice or anything like that, and I sort of don't let that become a reflection of my character. I just keep going. I said my part, good morning, and kind of move on.
Yeah.
And as far as to answer your question, do I see people as I think, in my opinion, I think everyone's born a good, honest person, like a good human. Like humans, you're born into this world doing like, you're filled with this light. Like you're just good stuff. It's only until like through our age, growing up, when we come across other people who become jaded and sort of kind of maybe tear you down, and sometimes people walk away with that and sort of reflect it upon others too.
But you're pretty good at not internalizing people's like you just oh, that's their shit. I'm still cool over here.
Yeah.
That's great.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, I feel like it's such a validation of the idea that, well, two things, like one, what you focus on, you call more of into your life, and that also what you put out there can come back to you, and the stuff that comes back to you that is not what you're trying to put out there, you're just like, bing, like it just bounces off, and you retain your,
Yeah.
happy.
And sort of those boundaries, kind of creating boundaries too. Because like throughout my life, like growing up, I've come across like a good handful of people who were like very, I want to say like absorbers and just drainers, and like they will take like over and over and over again. And like you can give and give and give and give, but there just comes a point you just gotta cut the stream and say, I can't give anymore. I gotta go on with my life and just move on from there. And just that's where I kind of had the pivotal moment of like, okay, I gotta go inward, but not become selfish. Sort of just what energy do I want to carry, and how do I want to judge people? How like, what's the sentence? Judge others how you want to be judged. Like and I've been judged for so long growing up. Bounce between Mexico and the U.S.
When you've made that decision to, maybe I'm going to cut off this, like one of those such people or relationships, is that a conversation that you have, or is it just a decision and like a drift away?
There definitely was conversations that went on, but it's just they didn't listen, and I just had to move on, because it's like if I remain there in that sort of mindset and those sort of actions, and there's gonna be some consequences, and I just.
But did you have like the friendship ending conversation with them?
I wouldn't even say it was friendship. It would be family.
Ah, okay. Oof, yeah, that's a heavy one.
Yeah, and it's like, and like you're surrounded I was surrounded by other people saying, no, that's the way it ought to be. Like you should, like there's these sacrifices, emotional sacrifices, mental sacrifices, and this is what it takes. And it's like, well, if this is what it takes, then what's the life worth living for? This is what it is.
Yeah, what is the, not to make it like a math thing or like a, what do they call that? Return on investment. But what is the payoff for all of that sacrifice? Like what is coming out of it that's good and worth keeping? Is it enough?
Yeah.
I was kind of asking for a friend about that friendship ending conversation, because asking for a friend. I've kind of struggling with that with a friendship. And I'm like, is this a conversation that needs to happen, or do I need to just kind of like...
Definitely a conversation. You don't want to ghost them. Don't.
No, not ghost, but yeah, no,
Yeah.
Anyway, that's my...
Because I've come across people in my life, like, I'm not interested. I don't ghost. You have to have those. I feel like as a human, have to have those conversations. It allows them to sort of take those words and sort of reflect where were the misfalls, and what can they do, what they couldn't do, and that way they're not sort of thinking on their mind, like
inventing stories
and that's sort
kind.
of this fog.
Yeah, that's very kind. All right, I'm gonna think.
And then after you have that conversation, and if it still sort of remains, then I would say drift away.
Okay. Thanks.
It's not easy. No.
No, it's not. Okay. Well, I wanted to share a little bit about what I've gathered in little piecemeal conversations with you. The first time I saw you outside of the gym, it was the 4th of July, and I was watching the parade, and like you just like drifted by and you were handing things out, but I wasn't able to get what you were handing out.
Yeah.
And I was like, what's Pedro doing? I didn't even see anybody. I don't know if I didn't know your name yet.
No, you
after
didn't.
that, I introduced myself at the gym, and I was like, hey, I saw you in the parade. What were you doing? What were you selling? Or what?
Yeah.
So talk about that.
Yeah. Yeah. So I hadn't met Kisa before the parade, and during the parade, I didn't even see you.
Yeah.
Because it kind of like in my, because in the parade, it's like there's so many people, there's so many faces. And so I was just like, my heart was racing. I was just passing things out, and maybe you did say something like, hey, but it was all a blur.
Too many people, probably. Yeah, but I mean, talk about what you were doing there. Like,
and then the next day, Kisa, she walked up to me in the gym. She's like, I saw you at the parade. So I was in the parade because I'm part of this German cooking and beer brewing club. And we teach people how to cook German food and how to brew German beer. And I was passing out recipe cards, specifically sauerkraut.
Oh, yeah, I didn't get in on that. But when I talked to you, you didn't mention the German part. But you told me the name of it. So I went online and I was like, wait, Bavarian cooking? That's so specific. So specific. And it didn't, like I didn't, I don't look at you and think Bavarian cooking.
No, you don't think I'm Bavarian.
So how did you tell me where specifically the Bavarian cooking interest came from?
Okay. Specifically, growing up, I had no knowledge of Germany nor Bavaria. It was only until I met my boyfriend. I met him, and he's German. He's Bavarian. And after hearing his story, like his background, and as far as like growing up in Bavaria and the food and that sort of the traditional wear, the clothing, I was like, that sounds. I like that sort of. The energy felt really good. I was like, I like that. I like that sort of home style cooking. Like it was like comfort food. It was very cozy, and then he explained that the home is not a place but a feeling. It's German, and specifically Bavarian German, for at home. That feeling of being at home.
That's a great feeling. Yeah. Okay. So that I've since learned that you have like a little beer garden in your backyard. Okay, and you also grow things for the cooking and the beer.
Yeah.
Is that your trade? Is that?
I'd say my trade is I'm a gardener, so I do like yard work around Alameda and Bay Farm for people who have plants that are sick or need to like sort of refurbish their yard in a sense. One man team.
Wow. Okay, so you're really specialized.
Yeah, very very special.
Yeah.
But as far as with the home, it's a labor of love. Like I grow hops for the beer. Because without hops, beer, what I've learned is beer becomes this sort of sugary, watery drink.
Mess.
Well, some people like it. Some people like it. But without hops, it's just too sugary. But with hops, when you add it in at specific times in brewing, it gives it that sort of bitter, tongue.
The bite.
That bite, yeah.
I love hops. Yeah. So, but you grow lots of things in your yard, right? Like list some of the vegetables and stuff.
So right now I have in my yard carrots, dino kale, potatoes, nasturtiums. You can eat those.
What is that?
Nasturtiums are this almost like a lily pad sort of ground cover plant. You've seen it around Alameda. It almost looks like a lily pad.
Okay, I think I can picture it. You can eat them.
You can eat the leaf and the flower.
Oh.
And there's two types. I currently have the variegated one, which is this sort of yellow speckled, kind of like this design. It's that yellow on the leaf. And you can eat those.
Okay. In
It's
like
not a
salad
veggie.
or
Yeah, you can put it in a salad.
like a little compliment.
Or you can complement your charcuterie too.
Oh, okay. Is there a particular thing you like to grow that has like a whole story? Like it's been an emotional thing for you, like you fight with that thing because it's hard to grow or it's extra satisfying when it comes out right or
Oh yeah. Yeah, definitely all of that. All of that. Well, I'd say my go-to, what comes to mind when you said all that was black raspberries. Black raspberries.
say more.
Native to Alameda. Native to Alameda. It is a horrendous plant to grow, but it's beautiful. It's beautiful, and when it's fruitful, everyone loves it. But it takes a lot of work.
You've put a lot of love into that.
Yeah.
How's this year's harvest?
Oh, it's lots of fruit.
Oh, nice.
Lots of fruit.
Okay, and how all have you used it?
For pies, for jams, for syrups. It's really good, really sweet. And I don't use pesticides. I don't use herbicides.
Do you sell your produce?
No.
Okay.
I use it for the cooking classes.
Okay. Well, that's really nice.
Or for myself. But always, because it's so much fruit, I've asked the neighbors to pick at it. Because if you don't pick at it, it just tends to become raisins. And when you don't pick a fruit, the plant itself won't produce more fruit.
Right.
It's sort of like milking a cow.
Yeah. You don't want it to wither on the vine.
Correct.
Okay.
And it's because it's thorny, it's full of thorns. Like it is so thorny. Even if I have my full leather gloves and I'm like wrangling it because I have to like weave it because it won't this vine won't climb itself. It will just sort of arch over. It'll arch over and just limp on the floor.
Okay.
So I always have to grab these vines and like weave it in the fence.
And get injured all along the way.
Yeah.
Yeah,
And
that's
even
a
with
labor
my gloves.
of love for sure.
No, even with my gloves, they'll poke through and I get like scratches and cuts.
Do you ever cuss when you're out there?
No.
I knew you didn't, but that seems like the
No.
perfect Like if you're ever gonna cuss, that would be mother. Yeah, no.
No. The thing is, okay, when you say profanity, I've used profanity before. That was a long time ago. And it's like, and it didn't, when I said it and like, it wasn't that serious. Like people, when they would hear me say curse words, they would say, it didn't sound like my voice doesn't sound,
No.
it doesn't sound, like I could say all these words, I could say a whole sentence, but the weight of them wouldn't be.
Yeah, it would probably be shocking for anyone talking to you, and
Uh-huh.
it would feel really weird coming out
Yeah.
of you. It would feel insincere.
Yeah.
Like, yeah.
And I feel like, or at least me personally, I feel like it's a shortcut to come across a different meaning. So maybe I can use another set of words if I want to convey something.
Do you feel like you have judgment toward curse words? Like you think they're not
No,
good to use?
I'm friends with people who curse a lot, and like I don't have nothing against with people who curse. It's just me personally.
don't
It's like
yeah.
my voice. If I curse, it just doesn't. It doesn't resonate.
I could definitely see that. Okay. The second time I saw you in the wild,
Yeah, in the
I
wild.
took my dad to Oktoberfest. I guess I still didn't know how deep in to this
Yeah.
Bavarian world you were.
Yeah.
But we were at Spiezekammer. Did I say that right? I've always wondered.
Yeah. It's people say Spiza,
How do you say
How do I
it? How
say
does
it?
Hans say it?
Spiza,
Spiezekammer. Finally, I know.
which is German for spice cabinet.
Oh, okay.
Spiza, spice,
Now you know.
Kammer, cabinet.
Spiezekammer. Okay. I've always wondered. Thank you. And our interview is complete. No, I'm just kidding.
That is the answer to
This is
all
why I lured you here, to get the final answer on that.
the secret to life.
So I was there with my dad. I took him for Oktoberfest, and this polka band was playing, and a song came on that my family loves because it's in.
It's a good band.
It's in Groundhog Day. This song, which I've seen a million times. Plus, the song plays a million times in Groundhog Day. So the polka band started playing that song, and I was like, oh, I gotta like. I was pulled over there. I started taking a video of it, and then in my field on the camera enters Pedro in a full lederhosen.
Yeah.
And I was like, what? It was just so shocking and cute. And then so then I started talking to you, and so do you often wear a full lederhosen? Is that part of when you do cooking classes and stuff?
Oh no, for cooking classes, no, I don't wear trunk. No, no, because if you get something on it, it's because it's leather and it takes a different. You have to. It's hard to clean out.
Yeah.
But I just had it last night. Had it on last night
For what?
for Krampus and Saint Nick night.
Krampus. That's like a German Christmassy tea?
Yeah.
Okay, what's Krampus? I
Okay.
know I've heard of this, but I don't remember. What
So
happened?
again at Speisekammer, they had invited Krampus, who is this like, he almost looks like the devil, but he's like hairy and he's got horns and he has like a really like animal snout.
Yeah, I can picture it. I know
And
what
he
you're
has like characteristic women. He has like these big bells on his waist that jingle and chains that rattle. And he is a German folk story and he has a basket too. He's carrying a big basket on his back, and he also has like a stack of sticks. Almost looks like a little broom, but it's to hit people, right? And so the German folk story is that Krampus will come out along with Saint Nick, and Saint Nick is going door to door to say who's been naughty or nice. And so Krampus, he can't say anything. He doesn't speak German. He doesn't say any words. He's just a foul beast. But he's at the command of Saint Nick. And so Saint Nick, he will say, okay, you've been naughty, so Krampus, get this kid and take him back to your naughty land, because
Take him back?
take him back.
Oh shit, that's serious.
Yeah.
Oh, so little kids are like terrified of
Correct.
this.
Little kids are terrified. So the story is that Krampus would go to your door, and if you were naughty, Saint Nick said you were naughty, Krampus would, say it's time to go in the basket. It's time to go.
Did Krampus visit the adults that were there at Speisekammer?
Oh yeah. So at Spiza, yeah, they walk around table to table, and parents had their kids, and it's like, oh, have you been naughty or nice? And so kids are like, oh no, I've been nice. I've been really nice. Because Saint Nick, he's like in the full garb. He kind of looks like the Pope. So he's like full garb. He has a beard, and he has
I bet that was cool.
It was really nice. And so I was wearing lederhosen.
Did any kids get carted off last night?
No, no.
And the verdict on you was?
You know, Saint Nick's helper had put a word for me. It said, you know, Pedro's been nice all year long. You know, get him a candy cane. But Krampus felt otherwise.
Really? Do you know Krampus personally? The person who was Krampus?
No.
What did he do? Did he hit you with the sticks?
Yeah, yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Maybe try harder next year.
Yeah. But it was good. And we were the only group in Lederhosen, so it was probably that.
Yeah, he stood out. I know what you mean with the material. My dad grew up dancing polka. I think I was mentioning to you at Alpine Village in Southern California. So he still has those lederhosen, and you know, like most things German, like very, very well made. Like that's what 60 years he's had that pair, and they're like that leather is just
Yeah.
primo.
It is well made. It's generational. It's passed down.
Oh, that's cool. I didn't know that.
And the reason why for so many buttons is that way you can either, if you gain weight or lose weight, you can still fit it.
Yeah, right. That's a cool feature. What do you dance also? Polka?
I know how to dance polka, but I'm not in a dance group or anything like that.
Okay.
But I love going to Oktoberfest to dance.
So, do you feel drawn to your Mexican culture as you are to the Bavarian culture or German culture?
I would say no. I would say I see similarities, but I'm not necessarily. Like I enjoy Bavarian culture and appreciate it and sort of take part in it. Wait, what was the question? What was?
If you feel that same draw toward your Mexican culture, do you celebrate that part of your culture?
No, I'd say no. And I think now that I think about it, now that you asked this to me, and I'm thinking out loud, I want to say because of my Mexican culture and the American culture, since I didn't have a really good, what's maybe for lack of a better word, introduction to it, like a good sort of assimilation into it, into the U.S., Mexican culture. I kind of felt like I didn't have a good connection with either side. But with Bavarian culture, at least after, after sort of revisiting my good energy, and I can feel, I can engage in Bavarian culture.
That's where you found your home and you feel welcome.
The cooking, the beer, the dancing, the music. Like my favorite instrument of Bavarian music is the accordion.
Yeah.
I love the accordion.
It's very, well, it's funny that you said that because I was about to say it's a very joyful instrument. And so that makes sense that you would feel drawn to it.
And I love live music. Anything live music, I'm for it.
Yeah. Same.
Orchestra, folk bands, anything live. I love live music.
But what's the next thing you're going to take in live? Do you have any plans?
For music? No, not too sure. The future is always unfolding.
I'm going to pivot a little bit. Something I wanted to ask you a little about. And when you first got here, when Jeff was setting up, you and I were just talking about when I found out for sure that you were gay. And and I used the word...
Yeah.
I said, I suspected you were, which I hesitate to use that word because it sounds like a crime, I said. But just because of the way you reacted when I said I was going to a pride thing. And then it's sort of like planted a little seed. And so when I found out pretty recently, that you are and met Hans, I wasn't surprised. So, but I was thinking about, another friend has talked about coming out to people at the gym. I know, and also from experience, I'm not quite straight myself. So like it's a process over time, like who are you comfortable sharing this with or what, but I think that, in my case, it's okay. People will assume that I'm straight. And for the most part, that's true. And that's okay. And I don't need to like disrupt anybody's assumptions or anything. I just travel through the world. But in the case of this other friend who was talking about I think a lot of times the default assumption is still too straight, especially if somebody's not just always talking about their relationship or their sexuality. And then for him, he could have had several conversations with a person, and then there's a conversation where he comes out to that person, and then the next time he sees them, it's a question of how is this person going to react to me this time around. It makes me want to cry just thinking about it, just to think that that's like an ongoing experience that you would have to have, and wonder, is this person still going to be open to me now that they know this?
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah. Yeah.
And I don't think too many people at the gym knew that you were gay until recently. So I just wondered, what is that like for you? Just anything you want to share about the process of coming out over and over again.
Right. That is a good question, and that is true. At one point in my life, that was a true fear. That sort of like, once you introduce that concept to someone who already had this sort of time frame of a different perception of you, and then all of a sudden with this word coming out, then how does that alter their perception of you going onwards, right? And sort of things can get warped, and that feeling of, did you lose a friend because of it, sort of thing. And like, I've had that I've had that thought come across a lot when I was younger, and sort of like, oh, like being judged, and sort of like this fear, like, oh, if I say this now, like, what's tomorrow gonna look like? Is gonna be different, sort of thing. But this kind of goes back to, and also maybe it doesn't, and also it also goes back to my own experiences in life with the other people I was mentioning earlier, like with family, and sort of this, you can, give, and sort of kind of curate a way of living to sort of kind of keep things together, but it doesn't, at what sacrifice? It sacrifices your joy, or just even your own sort of trajectory in life. You don't want to alter your own trajectory. And, a lot of people will do that to, even being to old age too. People do it. But I think my experience has helped me with sort of living in life like this. Sort of, I kind of forget that I had the, and maybe this is another thing too. I know I'm sort of thinking off the riff right now.
Yeah, take your time.
That I think it also helps out that I am very masculine presenting too, right? Which you were saying, a lot of people thought I was straight, so that could have, helped me out as far as there was no pressure. But I never felt the pressure to continue or kind of sort of prop up that illusion or assumption. Like, I'm not going to say, oh, I have a girlfriend down the road, or I just went on a date with a girl, or I'm not going to do that sort of thing. I don't feel the need to. But I think but I've done that I haven't felt that need for such a long time, so it just comes so naturally to me, as far as to just sort of live joyfully.
Well, how long have you been out, like to family, for example? Or how old were you?
I came out to my family, I want to say 18, 19. I just finished a year of college. So however old I was, that's when I came out.
Were they surprised?
Honestly, they didn't really care.
Oh, nice.
But not in a good way. I wouldn't say I wouldn't say they just sort of like, so like my father, he would deny it. He denied it. So he would like talk to these other potential girl candidates, women, right? Like, oh, I have a son, this and this and that. And he already knew I was gay. So he was, I don't know why he would do that. So it was like that sort of, it was like denial.
Okay.
And it's like, I couldn't just live that assumption of like, I just gotta like live my truth. And if I lose people along the way, then I've lost much worse. So it's like, if I lose this, then I can't be too offset by it. I can't be too taken back, because I've lost much worse. And so it's like, that's why I sort of keep going, sort of And that's from my own life experiences.
Yeah, actually, you saying that makes me think back to that conversation about when people don't return your hello or whatever. And that's a pretty big thing. That's a pretty big thing early in life to realize that somebody is not, they're not picking up what you're putting down, and you're just gonna like go on. That's it. That makes me happy for you that it's, even though it wasn't like full reception of like, yeah, we love you exactly how you are, and let's find you a man. It was, but you seem like you came through that pretty strong, pretty.
Yeah, and it wasn't easy, and like it took a long time to sort of acknowledge that, what I left behind is like, it's like if I had continued that path, then I wouldn't be here today. I'd be doing something else, talking some different way too, and it just would be a whole different.
Living an inauthentic life.
Exactly, and it's like that's not what life is supposed to be. You're supposed to live authentically to your soul, to your mind, and with that, hopefully that aligns with other people and sort of spreads this sort of a good message of just being human.
I love that. I think that's such a nice message for all the Crunchies, for just everybody.
Yeah.
That's beautiful.
And and it's like, and no day is going to be perfect. Those are rare, and we will go through tribulations and through turmoil and that sort of thing. But through that is what we can come a lot better from that.
Well, on that note, that's a great message. I'm going to just ask you a random
I
question.
forgot to add to that. Before we jump into
that.
I don't feel the need to, and I always thought too, like, when I meet people, I don't say like, oh, hey, I'm Pedro and I'm gay. Like, I don't say that to people, because it just feels odd. It feels like it would be.
That would be weird, yeah.
It would be like if a lady was like, went to people and like, oh, my name is Sarah and I'm straight, or or I have a fifth toe, or something like that, right? It's like it's just. I just learned to not. I didn't need to, because I feel like when you do that, you're sort of. I don't know. I don't know how to describe it. I just know I don't feel the need to.
Yeah.
And I feel like my way of disclosing is like either now it's pretty open. But also just saying like pronouns, like he, like oh, sort of slipping that in.
Yeah, let them figure it out.
Again, if they're listening, then they're paying attention. And if I lose people along the way, then that's just
their loss.
Yeah.
Okay. The randomizer. Let's see. Okay, we'll take it down to very casual from these those heavier topics. For the rest of your life, you have to give up meat or sweets. Which do you choose?
I would give up meat.
Oh,
I was
okay,
vegan.
easily.
I was vegan at one point.
Okay, you could go back to that. Easy. All right, moving on. What is something that you find yourself... Okay, sorry. What is something that you might judge yourself for, even though you would never judge it in somebody else? Something that you're kind of guilty of judging yourself for.
Wait, say that again?
What is something that you find yourself judging yourself for, even though you would never judge it in somebody else?
What do I see in myself that I would judge harshly, or judge
You
that I
can
wouldn't
catch yourself judging yourself for, but if you think about it, you're like, I would never judge another person for that.
wouldn't judge? That is a good question. What do I judge myself what do I judge myself on myself?
Do you judge yourself for anything?
I'd say I have judged myself. I've judged in ways like body language and sort of how do I gesture myself? How do I posture myself? Like I judge I'm constantly like aware of how I am postured. And when I speak with someone, I'm unaware of how they're postured.
You're not even.
I'm not even like, but I'm so focused on how I'm postured. Like, am I standing up straight? Am I slouching? Am I fidgeting? That sort of thing. Am I rubbing my wrist or stuff like that? And like, I'm constantly like, I'm always thinking that because I have a hard time engaging with people. And I feel like I always have to, I feel like I have to be aware of how I am posture like. But when I speak to someone, I'm not aware of how they're postured, if that makes sense.
It does. It's so natural. We're so, worried about. For the record, I've never ever thought you were postured weird
No, but
or fidgeting.
Yeah.
I know what you mean. It's not me saying that is not going to make all the difference.
Yeah, no.
But maybe, I'm just one person here saying like, you can relax a little bit. It's hard to.
Yeah,
I know it is. I know
yeah,
it is.
It is hard to relax.
Yeah. Okay. One more. One more from the random bin. Are you having enough fun?
Am I having enough fun? Would say fun is subjective, depending on
However you define it.
how do I define it. I want to say I'm having fun.
What's fun for you?
What's fun for me? Honestly, I know this might sound just so like it might not even sound fun, but I just love to just sit there, put on like two of my favorite songs, close my eyes, and I'd close my eyes for like 2 hours.
Wow.
I don't.
And then those two songs will be on a loop?
No, not those two songs. But as far as it's a sort of genre. Of songs.
Okay. So it sounds kind of like a meditation a bit.
Yeah, it is meditation. I meditate every day. And I think that's what's helped me along with my journey of sort of not holding on to bad energy.
Oh, I have no doubt that that's true. Oh, I mean, it does sound fun to me. That's beautiful.
I started meditating 3 years ago, taking it seriously.
And it's made a big difference for you?
It has. It's allowed me to pause, reflect, and sort of analyze, like, just it kind of seeing your thoughts pass by like cars and seeing like it will just pass by. These thoughts will just pass by and the day will move forward. And that what things will change if I attach myself to this thought or if I just let it go.
Yeah.
And that's what I do for fun. I just love to sit there, close my eyes, listen to music, and I do that every day.
I'm glad you're getting enough of that. Yeah, and everything you just said, I think it makes perfect sense with, again, how you seem to interact in the world. It absolutely makes sense that you have learned that practice of not attaching to things and letting everything pass through so gently and lovely.
Yeah, and it's like, and it does take practice though. Being around between Mexico and the U.S., it just I've come to learn like situations change, people change, and like I can change.
Is there anything that I didn't ask you about that you would like to talk about?
Me, I have a question for you.
Nope, not allowed.
Oh man!
No, I'm kidding.
Okay. How do you perceive body language? Does it come to you naturally? Like, are you able to read body language and are you able to adjust back, communicate with body language? Like, for example, someone could wink at me and that has no emotion. My brain is not wired for any sort of, like, there's
You
no.
don't register that.
I can't register that.
I would say yes, I do. I do. Sometimes I feel like I'm guilty of going too far of mirroring body language is something you can do subconsciously. And I'll notice that I do that sometimes with clients. It's weird. Some people in like sales roles think of that as a strategy. It's so gross to me, but I've heard that people say, well, if you want people to feel like you're aligned with them and you want them to, buy what you're selling, like mirror their body language. So it's apparently a strategy. I do find myself doing that subconsciously sometimes, or I'll notice they do that. Like if I shift in my chair, they might shift in their chair the same way, which is kind of a different thing. But I do feel like I pick up on those kind of social cues, but I have no awareness at all of my own body language. So even watching some of these videos, I've been surprised to see how much I'm moving my hands when I'm talking and stuff, which is not a thing that I'm conscious of at all, and not a thing I'm trying to convey, or at least not consciously trying to convey. But you seem like you're doing pretty well.
Really?
I mean, notwithstanding, like I would not have known that you
No.
didn't have that gene that allowed you to register.
No, I
like,
don't have that gene. No. And I speak with a therapist, and he has helped me a lot. Because I always ask him questions like, oh, like here's a good one that I've asked him a lot, or I've asked him before. It's like, if someone says that they're okay, if someone says that they're okay, but they're not okay, but they say they're okay, but they're not okay, then why do they say they're okay? And so he broke it down for me, and he said tonality, like vocal tones, and people can naturally pick that up and know how to respond. I wouldn't know how to respond if they said they're okay.
Oh, you're just gonna take them at face value.
I take them at face value. Like, okay, you're okay. That's good stuff.
You know why I like that though? I think that I think we all need to be a little bit more accountable and honest. You know, and people talk about people who come from other cultures that say it's so weird the way Americans will say, how are you doing? Like a cashier or something would say that to you, and they really don't want to know. Unless the answer is good.
No,
like
they
your programmed response is good. How are you? If you say anything other than that, people really don't know how to respond, because we don't really mean to ask that question or hear the answer. So I think we all need more people in our lives that are just going to believe what we say. Oh, sorry, I don't know what I did to the mic just now, but and then if you somehow expected them to read between the lines and hear that, you know, and they do the digging, I think it would be better if we all were just forced to say what we really mean, you know, because people, like if for a day no one could read between the lines or pick up on the cues, then we would just be more honest. If we really wanted to, you know, we would just answer the question honestly.
Answer the question, yeah.
So I feel like that's not on you, but it is a helpful skill in the world, I guess, you know, if you can do that. Do you feel like you're getting better at it? Is it something that you can learn?
Oh yeah, I'm still learning. My therapist, he recommended some books and he said to journal more and sort of just pay attention to, if anything, could even do literal. He said you can even be literal if you need to. Like if you say, oh, you don't feel good, say you don't feel good.
Yeah, I really love when people answer honestly. Yeah, it's very refreshing.
Yeah. Or you can even you know, and he told me too, it's like sometimes people just don't have they're not feeling the sense of vulnerability with you in that moment or in that public setting. It's just like the time, the space of it is different, and maybe it's not a place for them to disclose. And so it's like just sort of understanding that, and it's taken me a while to understand that.
Yeah, that makes sense. Your therapist sounds good.
Oh yeah, he's really good. He's really good. He's helped me a lot.
Yeah, if anyone needs a good therapist, ask Pedro.
Yeah, definitely.
I've definitely recommended my therapist to other people because she's great like that. Yeah, therapy is great, isn't it?
Yeah, because you need someone to talk to on these sort of topics. Because you know you can talk to your friend or your neighbor about it, but they're not able to dive so deep and sort of dive into a way that's they're able to give their knowledge from a more distance approach rather than like in your own circle.
Yeah, and they'll probably be more honest with you.
Yeah, very honest.
And objective.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yay, therapy.
Definitely recommend. It's helped.
Thank you, Pedro. This has been so much fun for me.
Thank you, Kisa, for inviting me.
Yes, thanks.
And thanks to Jeff for this amazing studio.
Yay. All right, we'll wrap it up there. I'll see you soon at the gym.
Yes, at the gym.